What's going on, boys? How you doing? Gervais, Emilio, Yush, CJ Fit, Rav, Harpreet, Gravinder, Ginger. What's going on? Finally got some volatility in this market that we were expecting last week during OPEX. Obviously happened a little bit later. Look at all these support levels that we just diced through this whole time. So earlier in the day, we had this big rip on Powell reappointed as Fed chair. I think it was pretty obvious that Powell was going to get put back in. Why would they take him out midway through this whole inflation disaster? What's up, Nils? How you doing, bro? And we ripped off that news, obviously, gave the whole move back, came and retested the low of the day, right? So we broke that. The reason I took SPY puts here, the SPY calls, sorry. Remember we jumped into SPY calls. How you doing, Christina? Marcel. So we reversed all the way down, retested the low of the day, bounced right here. The reason I took these SPY 472 calls that went 400% today was XLF. So if you guys look at where SPY bottomed this morning at 1150, XLF was still going strong. So XLF was right about here. So we reversed on XLF here, and that's exactly where I took the SPY calls at about 1155. Obviously, we did come back down. We never tested the low of the day again. We ripped up. We got those for 400%, so congrats if you followed those. And then we switched into QQQ puts. Why did I switch into QQQ and not SPY puts? I already have some SPY puts as a hedge for Wednesday, 465s. They were as good as gone this morning. At the end of the day, they closed up 50%. So I'm glad I took a hedge size position. If I had a normal size position on those SPY puts, I would have had to cut them this morning. But since it was a smaller position, I had room to let them run. And I did let them run, and obviously they're up 50%. So other than that, I mean, SPY just looks very toppy. Like, I'll get rid of some of these for you guys so you can see. We are still bullish. Obviously, we took out all-time highs today, so obviously we're still bullish. But this candle is very bearish. A lot of profit taking at the morning. We closed right at the low of the day. 8-day moving average is at 467.68. We closed under the 8-day moving average again on SPY for the first time since November 10th, or no, since November 11th, sorry. And the next support up, if it does want to continue down, we got to wait till all the way 463 can trade on SPY this week. And also, it's a short week, so there's going to be less volume in the markets, which means you can push the price up and down much easier than you would be able to on a normal week. Just remember, Thursday is off, Friday is a half day for Thanksgiving. And most fund managers, most big boys on Wall Street, they're gonna leave for vacation Wednesday. So just keep that in mind. Keep your trading light. Today, the options premiums were priced like it's a Monday morning, when in reality it's only a 3-day week. So just keep that in mind. I kept saying it over and over again today. A lot of people got too invested, overconfident, whatever. We were just nailing trades. We were scalping a lot today. The reason being is volatility is high and we can catch these quick moves. QQQ puts went over 200% at the end of the day within like 20 minutes. So congrats if you held those. I sold early, obviously. I just wanted to sell and have a fresh slate for tomorrow, have a fresh brain. I don't want this position on my mind. So that's why I took them off. It does look great still. 8-day moving average is at 398.29. So we're not even at the 8-day moving average. That's how far ahead QQQ was. SPY closed underneath it, but QQQ closed above the 8-day moving average. So let's see if we can reverse off the 8-day here. Other than that, support would be 398.29 8-day. If we lose that, then it might even come and test the 21-day at 391. So if QQQ dumps another 7 points, 8 points from here, you're going to see a lot of carnage in these individual stocks. XLF, we were talking about it all weekend as well. This one was the first one to break down, so XLF was obviously leading the market, showed what is going to happen. 3 days in a row we were breaking down on XLF, while SPY and QQQ were making new highs, right? So through the last 3 days, SPY was up every day, QQQ was up every day for the last 3 days. XLF was dumping. Today we finally got a reversal in XLF off the 50-day moving average. Nice bounce. We got back into this range that we were in, but we closed below it, thanks to that little dump off at the end of the day. When you guys see this, on XLF, and you see this on QQQ, and the same thing is going to happen on SPY. And once they're all selling together, that's when the market really dices through support areas. So that's what I was talking about earlier. XLF did not do this. That's why SPY was a long for me. Even if QQQ kept dying, I didn't care, because SPY has a big portion of XLF in its holdings, right? So that's why I'm just trying to explain why I took the calls earlier. We did take QQQ for a big gain at the end of the day too. Overall, great trading day for me. I mean, anyone that followed those calls, they're all, even the SE closed green. The TSM was the only worrying one because it did close below 125. I was looking at other stuff. I didn't get a chance to sell it. I wanted to sell it if we were closing below 125. Let's see how we open tomorrow morning on TSM. It is still a solid breakout. Obviously, closing under 125 isn't ideal. But if we get quickly back over 125 tomorrow, this call will be fine. We have a lot of time on it, so it won't lose much premium anyways. Other than that, IWM. So IWM, as you guys know, we are in December calls. Why are we in December call? Huge weekly breakout here. There's two ways to draw this breakout. You can either draw a straight line here, which is resistance from here, here, and these four, and the breakout would be here. But the real drawing should have been through the highs. So if you draw it from here, you can see it's a very clear trend line. It's kind of downward sloping. So IWM can even come and test 231, and this play can still be okay. And also, if you guys look at the 4 hour is very almost oversold on IWM, which rarely happens. Every time we get near oversold, we get a big bounce on IWM, as you see here, as you see here, as you see here. Big bounces on IWM every time the 4 hour is getting oversold. The 1 hour should be down there as well. As you guys see, IWM RSI is way down there as well. So let's see if we can bounce off this trend line. We have till December 17th. So obviously we have enough time. Let's see if we can bounce off this trend line. But this play is going to be a little tricky. Since everyone on Twitter and everyone online is talking about it now, they're going to make it a little trickier if we are right. So let's see if we get that bounce. If not, I will cut it this week. VIX, big spike end of the day. Look at this. 1763. I did not draw this level now. This is from previous post markets. I've been telling you guys this level over and over and over again. We came down, tested it end of the day, and just absolutely ripped. As I've been telling you guys, if this is the low and this is a higher high, higher low, do we go and break this 1990 level? Today we got up to 1960. So the VIX is suggesting there's more volatility in the market coming. So let's see if we put in a higher high and then another higher low and change the trend back in the favor of the bulls on the VIX. So that's what we're watching on the VIX here. We could get volatile here. The more likely scenario is it for it to come take out this 1990, set a higher high, and then come down and put in a higher low again to change the daily trend. But what else is possible? It could completely reject this 1950 resistance that I have drawn here, 1950 reject, and come down and lose the low. So let's see what happens with the VIX. It's very important to watch. I know a lot of people say VIX is useless, but if you know how to chart it properly, you can use the VIX in your favor. Amazon here just absolutely destroyed. High of the day on Amazon, 37.15-ish, 37.13, and we closed today at 35.72. So big move down on Amazon. I don't know what to say other than that. Daily still looks bullish. This is still a bullish chart. You see the low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Whenever we set this low, as long as it's above 34.47 is the key number for Amazon. 34.47. Whenever it bottoms out, if it bottoms out above 34.47, this daily uptrend is still intact. So keep an eye on 34.47 on Amazon. That is a very key number. And also the 21-day moving average is also at 35.05. So that one should be another main number on your screen for Amazon. Until one of those supports gets hits and it reverses, Amazon's unplayable here. You can play the put side maybe if you want, but I wouldn't play it until we get one of these supports hit and it reverses. What's up, Ricky? How you doing? Tesla, same thing. We sold our 1200s this morning for like 200 something %. Great trade over the weekend. 1300s, I got rid of those too just because of overall market weakness. I wanted to get out of those. Those are still 3 weeks away. They can dump Tesla a lot more and we can get in cheaper. And this is a very ugly candlestick on the daily. So gap up, doji signals that there's a trend reversal. So let's see what kind. See, you guys have a doji down here as well. So we were dumping from all-time highs. They put in a doji and they ripped it 5 straight days. So now they put in another doji. Do they dump it down a little bit more and put in a higher low? Same thing as Amazon. Daily uptrend is still intact. This is the low now. Wherever it comes and puts in a low, that will be a higher daily low. Whether it be around 1089, 1100, wherever they put in a low, That's just a higher daily low. So we are trying to keep the daily uptrend in play here. So keep an eye on Tesla as well. I'm not in any right now. SE, I did grab some. Why did I grab some? Look at how well it held up, even though the whole market dumped. We didn't even lose the 1 o'clock lows here. On everything else, can open up almost any chart. 1 o'clock lows were broken at the end of the day. So this is the 1 o'clock low right about here. This is the 1 o'clock low. IWM took it out at the end of the day. XLF 1 o'clock low. They took it out end of day, obviously. QQQ, they took it out end of day. SPY, they took it out. SE held that 1 o'clock low. So it still looks bullish. This stock, obviously, you guys know it's one of my favorite stocks in the whole market. The tricky part about this one is bottoming. It bottoms very weirdly. People like look at 50-day bounce, 50-day bounce. Came under the 50-day, took 2 days, and got right back above it and ripped again. 50-day, this time it stayed underneath. So this one's a very tricky to time the bottom on this SE. But, I mean, 5 straight days on one of the strongest, biggest growing companies in the market, plus another flush today. I think everyone that got long from November 17th had a stop loss below 296. SE came down, took out all those stop losses, and now I think it bounces. If the market participates, this should bounce. And another thing we need for those SE calls to pay is this dollar to calm down a little bit. This thing's going crazy, like 10 days up in a row. This price on the dollar hasn't been seen since July of 2020. So we need the dollar to calm down for this SE play to play out. But as you guys see, RSI oversold. Stochastics are way overdone. I do expect the dollar to pull back some here. We're very far away from the 8-day moving average, especially for a currency play like the dollar. So keep an eye on the dollar to pull back and SE to start moving up. That is what I expect, and let's see what happens. We have a lot of time on the calls anyways. D-Dog, complete failed breakout. That's why we sold him this morning for an L. Beautiful earnings gap up, beautiful flag consolidation, beautiful breakout, and then it's just dumped. It happens sometimes. You take this play 10 times, it's going to work 8 times. This was just one of those 2 times. So I will take this play again in the future. It doesn't affect me. We're playing probabilities here, right? Like, you're not going to be right all the time. CELH, I've been going over this one all weekend. Told you guys again in the morning, we were right at the 200-day. This is a solid company. Their company is growing 119% year over year. So it's a monster. It's an energy drink company. You guys all know what Monster has done. If you guys don't know, Monster is one of the best performing stocks of all time. I think it is the best performing stock. If you guys look back here, Monster, you could have got it at 70 cents a share. No, even less, 18 cents a share in the century of 2000. I don't know how to say it. I can't even speak anymore. In this century, Monster is one of the best performing stocks. Yeah, not Netflix, not Amazon, not these big ones that we watch all the time. Monster was. So CELH, same business model, same everything. Their company is growing 119% year over year. Chart looks great. Weekly looks fine. Daily was right on the 200-day moving average, which is at $70. And at one point today, it was up $5 from the lows. So keep an eye on this one. If we get a little bottoming pattern here at $70, I will take some equity on the CELH. The only reason they're down is because they had to pay more for their materials, because they make aluminum cans. They had to pay higher prices because of inflation. Once that goes to the side, if it's transitory, like Powell said, this one should be a good investment, in my opinion. Palantir, we went over this one on the equity session over a month ago. I gave you guys 2 levels. I didn't change this at all. If we break out from 2750, a retest of 2750 would be where I would add equity. If we broke down from there, 2115 and 2018 were my 2 levels down here. This is the demand zone. This is when people start buying Palantir is down in this range, and people start selling it up in this range up here. So that's all we're going to do. I'm going to buy equity down here like I did. As soon as it gets to 2750, I'll be scaling out some. If we break through 2750, again, I'll add that equity back on a retest of 2750. If we fail 2750, I'll sell it all. I'll short it back down to 20, and I'll long it again. I love these kinds of bases. I make money in these bases for years sometimes. Like BA was one of my best ones back in the day. Let's see, before this big dump off. Like you guys know, traded this range for over a year. Netflix, I traded that range for like a year as well. Squares in the same type of range. So these ranges are not like, they shouldn't piss you off. They're like very good. Look at this range on Netflix. You could have traded this range for a year. You could have traded this SQ range for a long time. It's very easy money. You know where to buy and you know where to sell. So it's very straightforward. Those ranges are one of the best trades in the market. DKNG, nice little pop today. Dumped with the market, came right back, closed at high today. We did not take out the 1 o'clock lows, so keep an eye on DKNG. That was a bullish close in my opinion. If we do reverse here, we need to get back to 40 bucks before even thinking about going like super long. I am still in my calls, but let's see what happened. TSM, we already went over. 125 is a breakout level. We went through today. Let's see if it's a fake breakout and we pull back. If we don't get above 125 tomorrow, I will be selling these calls and I'll revisit it later, either next week or later this week. PayPal, nice move today. It was going like parabolic. The Wall Street Bets is all over this one. Lost all the supports, but the same play as SE. So everyone that bought, they probably had their stop losses below yesterday's low. They flushed them all out. Now do they rip it back up? Let's see. ZM earnings today. Let's see what they do. I think ZM earnings are going to affect a lot of these stocks that have been getting crushed. ZM, for example, like PayPal. If ZM does well, people are going to start buying PayPal again. If ZM does well, people are going to start buying Square again. All these beat up growth companies that did really good during COVID that are getting beat up now. If Zoom earnings are good, all these companies should see a decent bounce. T-Doc's at 109. Jesus, that's ugly. That's a lot of selling volume as well. Airbnb, big dump today. Right off the 50-day moving average, like clockwork. Look, 50-day moving average is at 176.80. At one point today, we were at 190. So you had a 14-point bounce just off the 50-day moving average if you were watching Airbnb today. Increased selling volume, which I don't like. So let's see. We have this little support, ascending support here. It lines up with the 50-day moving average. If it breaks this support and the 50-day moving average, Airbnb is in trouble. It's going to come down further. But if we hold it, this is the demand area here between these two ascending lines. And if it gets below this, we can start scaling in. We can wait till 154.50-ish. And I want this one long term, so I hope it does come down a lot more. But thank you guys for attending. Keep your don't trade too much this week, guys. There's only a 3-day week. The premiums are priced like it's a 5-day week. So if you do trade, give yourself extra time. Don't overtrade in the first place. Just go for the best setups. And let's see what tomorrow brings us. Everything is still bullish. If we just rotate from tech into bank and small caps, that's the most bullish thing that can happen. Thank you guys for attending. I'll see you tomorrow.